See, I've got my whole defense planned out. I'm gonna blame the movies. It's pretty cool, huh? It hasn't been done before. You see, this is just the beginning, a prelude to the trial.
I think it's time to blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
This Organized Chaos podcast is brought to you by JEMS Art Studio. JEMS Art Studio is an online store that allows access to prints that you can use for most anything, obviously as just a picture, or as a wallpaper, or as a bookmark, or anything you can think of. You can find JEMS Art Studio at etsy.com/shop/JEMS Art Studio. This podcast is also brought to you by listeners like you. Thank you.
Hello, and welcome to another Organized Chaos podcast. My name is Bobby Quarters, and your host, as always, is Bob. Bob, how are you today?
How you doing, Bobby? Yes, we are a couple of co-hosts, always working with these Organized Chaos podcast, which is always an Organized Chaos. Today we had to update the computer and figure out why Skype wasn't working. I'm still not 100% sure why it wasn't working, but restart fixed it. Yay!
All right.
We'll figure out how the system goes. But how was your Thanksgiving?
Not bad. Not too bad. Went over to the in-laws. We had some turkey. Had to do a bunch of kind of running around looking after friends' houses because some of our friends actually, the couple that introduced my wife and I together, they were out of town visiting their family out of state. So we went out to go let their dogs in and out. They got big old Malamute and a big old mutt dog. So that was really fun with a full turkey.
There you go.
And had to go over to my folks. They were waiting on about a dozen packages or so because they were out of town. So other than that, yeah, great. I mean, not bad. Got to eat, got to relax. Could have cared less about football this week.
Yeah. Well, I'm such a huge sports fan in that. Not really. Occasionally, but rarely.
Yeah, don't let the colors back here fool you. I'm not that active of a Buckeye fan.
Oh, you liar. But yeah, I know for me, it was just kind of relaxing at home, watch some Christmas movies, and of course Cowboy Bebop, which we will be talking about later.
I tried to.
Yeah. Bobby gave it a solid attempt. I saw it all, and I have opinions and thought. But
I have a lot of questions.
Well, yeah, I can probably help with those because they're worth things. But we were busy with Cowboy Bebop. We're going to talk about Scream 2. We are not going to talk about Hawkeye. We're going to save that for next week because, to be perfectly honest, I didn't realize it was coming out this week. So
same.
Next week, we will be talking about the first 3 episodes of Hawkeye. So next week, you're going to get an extra episode. So I think that works out nicely. I do kind of want to talk about Wheel of Time sometime, but I'm thinking we'll just wait till all that series collects up and the whole season over. So I meant to bring that up to you earlier, but yes, something to keep in mind.
Wheel of Time heard.
Yeah, they just released the 3rd episode, so or 4th, fuck, I don't. But yeah, so next week we'll do Hawkeye, and this is probably more closing, but we'll probably talk about that Beatles documentary too, which looks cool, and I know you already saw it.
It is cool.
Yes. I know you're a bigger Beatles fan than I am. I am. I like the Beatles a lot too, especially their later years, which is something that looks like this documentary.
Oh, it definitely it ends with the rooftop concert.
Oh, of
course. It's the events it's like the weeks to the rooftop concert and them cutting Let It Be.
And as a general rule, I'm pretty much interested in pretty much anything Peter Jackson does at this moment. So yeah.
Well, one quick thing I will say about it right now is that the restoration of all the footage that he had, the film itself, it looks unbelievably clean. Nice. And I know that it's and I'm thinking this was like film that was recorded back in 1969, and just the restoration alone is incredible. The sound is amazing. I mean, whew, those are some pretty toys that he played with, and he made that thing look and sound amazing. And I really can't wait for you to dive into it. Get comfortable because they're long.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm a Beatles fan, so it should.
Oh,
it should
yeah,
be.
I know.
And I'm a Peter Jackson fan, so it's a twofer.
Well, yeah, my mom had told me that she, while they were up north, she was with my uncle, her brother, and they both grew up big Beatles fans. And she was saying, like, it got a lot of complaints from just people complaining how long it was. And I just said to her, like, well, they did see that text at the beginning about 150 hours of footage.
Yeah, they cut a lot.
So there's a lot that was cut.
Mm-hmm. And probably a good percentage of that is them just like sitting in silence or scratching their butt or something. But you know, there's probably some gem stuff.
There are some gem stuff between that.
Yeah.
Like, one part in the beginning, in the first part, where they're kind of like Paul's showing him "I've Got a Feeling," and he keeps playing it for him over and over, and Ringo just kind of comes at the end. He stops his drums, like, "Is that song called I've Got a Feeling?" And then you hear George say, "It's called I've Got a Heart On," and then they play a version of it like that.
I'm looking forward to watching this. That sounds like fun.
It is, and fair warning, right around episode 2, the second one, don't get too lost in the sound because there will be a shrieking.
Okay.
Yeah. So heads up.
Sounds
Spoilers,
awesome.
but oh yeah, well, Yoko is there, so
Oh god.
Of course a microphone will get in front of her at a few points in those last
Why?
2. Because Paul wasn't in the studio yet, he had to fucking make an entrance.
Something I thought would be fun to bring up, segueing to our first topic. We currently have the 100 subscriber challenge. I'm gonna bring this up on my next video on my main channel as well.
Okay.
We get to 100 subscribers on YouTube before the end of the year. We're going to talk about the Scream TV series as part of leading up to the new Scream movie. And
Scream.
Also talking about leading up to the new Scream movie, we watched Scream 2 this week. Kind of getting caught up on all 4 before we get up to the new one. And yeah, yes, we totally watched it. Yeah. Fun fact, every time we talk, I'm almost kind of scared to talk because it seems like every time we bring up Scream, I get something monstrously wrong. So, yeah,
okay.
Pay attention.
I
Eventually,
up...
at some point, my brains will dribble out through my ear.
I do a lot of these Scream ones, I'll admit, based off of memory, unless I've seen them very recently. Mm-hmm. And I did see this one about like back in October.
Okay, yeah, that's fairly
recent. Yeah, and I did grow up like having the first 3 movies on VHS, or even like the first 2, and then when the third one came out, I got the third one. But still, I would watch these a lot because at the time there was a time when this was one of my favorite horror movies, and I just loved everything about them. So I would say I'm a bit of a fan of this series.
Well, I will say, rewatching this, I forgot. Like, there's lots of people who were fairly famous at this time, or maybe even famous a bit later afterwards, who were in this movie.
Oh yeah, it's kind of surprising to me, like, because I get that a lot, especially even watching the first one. I go, oh hey,
yeah,
that's right.
Well, the first one I think I remembered better. This one, like, I want to say like 2 of the first victims are like Jada Pinkett Smith and
Omar Epps.
Yeah, Omar Epps, and then a little bit later we get Sarah Michelle Gellar. It's like, okay.
Playing nothing like the role she did in I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah, no. Well,
same fate, unfortunately. Well, not as bad.
Well, let's put it this way. Buffy would have had a better fate.
Buffy would have had a better outcome in both scenarios.
Yes.
Buffy wouldn't have stopped when she saw the parade. She would have ran into the damn parade.
Yes.
And it wouldn't have been Buffy getting thrown off that balcony. Ghostface would have gone flying.
Although, yeah, I did want to bring that up because I thought that was very it had to be like a complete Halloween reference. Her getting thrown off that balcony. It felt so much like it. I mean,
I think it was too, and I'll say in doing the preparation to kind of refresh myself on this, I did watch like kind of a making of a featurette and a few people's like hot takes on the movie. And one that several people pointed out, there's like I guess a bad edit scene where you could totally see it.
Really?
Where when she's on her knees on that patio and like Ghostface goes to stab her, you see the bloodline on the knife before the knife hits her.
Oh, wow.
And it's like a split, like you have to kind of be quick to pause. But I thought that was kind of like, huh, that's funny. And I guess also when she's thrown over, they've digitally blocked out a crew member who was in one shot when she's getting thrown off. This guy just standing there like,
yo, what's up?
Hey. Yeah, what's going on?
Be like Egon. Yo.
Yo.
I guess before we get too far, if you're listening, if you haven't seen these movies, yeah, we spoiled the shit out of it, obviously. It came out 20 years ago. Check it out.
Yeah.
These are good movies. This is totally
these
about...
are very, very great still. It still has that punchiness and great, but at the same time, a lot of it is just painfully dated.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. I feel like
painfully.
I don't know how painfully, because I almost feel like with how dated these movies are, it's kind of how it works. Because this is totally a movie of the time, and that's like totally like just woven into the movie as it is.
Oh, absolutely.
And they talk about how this is the rules to survive a horror sequel in this one. I'm not gonna lie, I felt a little frustrated with apparently Empire Strikes Back doesn't count as a sequel in this because it's a pre-planned trilogy. That was just a little something that bugged me.
No. No, that's a horseshit argument.
Yeah, no. Well,
that's a horseshit argument. That argument only exists just so that anyone could say Empire is not the greatest sequel ever made.
Yeah. Well,
because Empire is probably one of the best sequels. Like,
yeah,
I wouldn't say it's the greatest sequel ever made. My personal opinion is Superman 2, but that's my opinion.
I'm not sure. It's definitely a heavy contender. Like there's the serious question early on is there any sequel better than the original?
Yeah.
And I was shocked nobody in that classroom said Empire. It didn't come up until later in the movie.
I'm shocked no one said Wrath of Khan.
Yeah, Wrath of Khan's an obvious one.
Yeah, Wrath of Khan. Actually, you know what? Anything after motion picture.
Oh, not Final Frontier.
Yes, Final Frontier.
Final
Frontier is better than the motion picture.
I'm not so harsh on the motion picture, but yeah,
it's dry.
Yes, it is.
It certainly is dry.
Okay, Spock flew into a space vagina in that movie, though. What other Star Trek movie has that claim?
I don't know, man. It's better than having telekinesis with fucking whales. However, though, Chekhov going up to those cops asking for the nuclear vessels is just freaking like the look he gives him. Like, why would I tell you that?
Yeah, now I'm kind of shocked they didn't bring up Star Trek because that's such an obvious one right there.
It is. They would definitely be talking pop culture things, and today saying Star Trek or that would absolutely be like, okay, yeah, that's a fair thing because that geek culture. I really hate that words.
Yeah,
but
geek culture has become very mainstream at this point. So.
It is. It painfully to an aspect, but it's good in many ways. It's good in many ways.
Yeah, there's advantages and disadvantages.
Yeah, there's pros and cons, just such as everything. Mm-hmm. But I think now, yeah, sure, absolutely, they would make a Star Trek reference. I mean, I would be surprised if I hear one in the new film, but I wouldn't be like, oh, that's I wouldn't think that they were reaching for something, because I felt that Brando reference was, yeah, sure, Godfather's well known enough, but how many people actually know that he was doing a Marlon Brando impersonation other than a room full of film students?
Exactly.
Like, I'm talking about the audience.
Well, they were talking about what was a better sequel, and they land on Godfather 2, And that's one I think is very debatable because I actually prefer Godfather 1.
I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
I mean, it's cool
I'm
to
not-
watch young Vito.
Yeah. Well,
But you see Michael hit his bottom, in a sense.
yeah.
I think the death of Apollonia that was his wife's name in Italy, right?
It's been a while. I've seen them, but
I think it was Apollonia.
here's what I remember. I remember loving Godfather Part 1, and then Godfather Part 2 is super long, so always split up in 2 discs. I remember enjoying the first disc, but it does run a little long. Then when you get to the second one, that's when it really picks up. It's really good.
Yeah,
But
when the killing starts.
Yeah, essentially, I feel like the second half of Godfather Part 2 is the equivalent of Godfather Part 1.
Yeah,
That's where
and
I'm at.
then
I think they're both great.
And then there's 3.
Yeah, which I think is maybe shit on too much, but man, there are a lot of arguments against it where I'm like, yeah,
I see the reasons.
You got a point.
Yes, I see the logic,
Yes.
and I'm not saying it's wrong.
Yes.
However, the film does have its good points.
Oh yeah.
Gonna get a little off topic since we already are, but
Yeah.
I will say one thing that hurts that film more, and it's an unpopular opinion, and it's the casting of Andy Garcia.
I thought he was all right. I thought Joe
thought he was a little
Mantegna
too over
was
the
great
top.
in that movie, though.
Yeah, I kind of thought Joe Mantegna should have had his part, and
Yeah.
their role should have been absolutely their role should have been switched.
And
My opinion.
here's
And I just think
totally
Mantegna's a better actor.
totally bandwagon opinion here, but Sofia Coppola, beautifully talented director.
Oh my god!
Not
yeah.
the greatest actress. And I know it's a bandwagon opinion, but she does hurt that movie.
Honey, you do better work behind that camera.
Yes, she does. Yeah.
Nothing personal. Like behind the lens, you could. I'll watch whatever.
Yeah. But
And
yeah.
as long as you, you first caught my attention with your obsession with Scarlett Johansson's butt.
yeah. I get
It's
it.
such a. I don't mean that. That's mean to say. I don't mean that.
But yeah, they said on Godfather Part 2, but they mostly jump around horror movies. If I remember
They do.
correctly. And
They
yeah,
kinda do.
that is
And
trickier.
Aliens.
Yeah, Aliens
yeah.
was I thought was good. Although Alien
That's
is
also
great,
another
too.
obvious choice
Yeah.
too. But you could but I think it's also the same as going with saying Friday the 13th Part 2, because that's your introduction to Jason then, and
Yeah, I'm not gonna
But
lie. The first 3 Friday the 13th for me are all very samey. Not bad, but they're all.
I know what you mean.
It's the same.
I know what you mean. Same fucking movie. I
Yeah.
know.
And you could make the argument, oh, well, 2 and 3 have Jason. Yeah, you're not wrong. And 3 has the introduction of the hockey mask. 2 has the introduction of Jason. So they're all different in a way, but raw story, it's all the same.
Yeah, bare bones, it's the same
Yeah.
thing. However, personal opinion of that franchise, I think he's scarier with just the burlap sack. I'd be a little more scared of that running at me in the woods than some guy in a jumpsuit and a hockey mask.
I don't know.
That guy in dirty ass overalls and a shirt and a burlap sack. Yeah, that's some.
I will say this: it depends on what movie you're looking at, but him without the mask can be pretty fucking terrifying, or pretty fucking
3,
hilarious.
3, well, 2, yeah, he's a little mildly horrifying,
Yeah.
but he also is a little slothish.
Well, I'm trying to think without the mask. I know probably 7 was
He
my
kind of
favorite.
looks like he kind of looks like Sloth a little bit in the third one with long chucky hair.
I'm thinking it's 7 where he had the best look outside the mask.
What, like that skull and that big shit-eating grin?
Yeah, that was fucking. That's pretty.
Or what
awesome.
was the one that had like the burger with like the couple with the short little large guy and the large woman, and they made a lot of like very blunt sexual innuendos to each other. I think it was Jason Goes to Hell, where they made the hockey mask
God.
burgers.
I guess it's been a while since I've seen that.
I just remember the flat top grill being used to make Jason burgers, which were just like hockey mask
All right.
shape.
If we go into Jason Goes to Hell, here's what I remember for that movie. Jason's a slug. and it's maybe mildly better than Takes Manhattan, but that's not saying much. Maybe.
And it ends with Freddy pulling him into hell,
Yes,
allegedly.
yes. And then he goes into space before he fights Freddy, which of course
Yeah.
logically makes sense in the continuity.
Which apparently takes place after the events of Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah.
So, in theory,
Okay.
before the credits even start on Freddy vs. Jason, you know Jason's gonna fucking win. But also, he's Jason.
Yeah. But yeah,
I was a fan of Freddy going into that, and I knew Jason was gonna walk away.
I do think this movie, although going down the horror thing, I do think they're like my favorite Friday movies are 4 and 6. So there's horror sequels that are better than the original.
Well, original Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'd definitely say Next Gen or like New Blood. That one, I think that's like 4 or 5.
Oh, okay.
New
Beginnings,
Blood,
right?
yeah, New Beginnings, yeah. That one,
New
I really
Blood, I
like
think was 7, right? Or am I misremembering?
maybe. It's
I don't know.
or the Next Chapter or whatever it is. It's
Oh,
it's
well, the final
it's the one
chapter is
after
4.
the cop. It's the one after the Copycat.
Oh,
The
okay.
first one after
Yeah,
the
that might be New Blood. No, that's
Yeah.
Jason Lives.
That's Jason Lives. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's
one.
6. That one's
That
awesome.
one
Yeah.
is beautiful.
Well, that one's like a horror comedy. It's kind of brilliant.
It is.
It's a great horror comedy.
It's kind of brilliant in just the worst ways.
Yeah.
In the sense of how Troll 2 is a fine piece of cinema.
Well, Jason Lives is definitely way more intentional.
Oh, absolutely. I think if anything, Jason is way more self-aware. That series
yeah.
definitely was.
Oh yeah.
I mean, geez, they're just missing Trauma films, and the Toxic Avenger being like the guy who defeats Jason every time. Ooh, that's a movie idea.
So yeah, I think definitely if we're talking about horror sequels, there's definitely horror sequels that are better. So this movie's wrong.
Yeah, but getting back to Scream 2.
Yeah, well, I think we've proven them wrong. Mission done.
Well, we have. Yeah, eat that, Williamson.
Yeah.
You can't even teach a class in a fictional setting. Actually, nothing. I got nothing against him. His writing's pretty great.
I'm trying to think. I think there are only 4 major characters returning to this movie, although 5, if you want to count Cotton, who has a major role in this one and barely in the first one.
What? From 1 to 2?
Yeah, Scream 2.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I for some reason I thought you were talking about the new one. I was like,
Oh yeah, no, I'm
okay, yeah. So a returning cast, would
Scream
definitely
2,
be.
yeah.
Let's see, it's Courtney Cox,
Yeah.
David Arquette, Nev Campbell, Jamie Kennedy, and Lev Schreiber.
Yeah.
5.
Who is barely in the first one. Merely.
He is definitely barely in the first one. Like you see him on a television.
Yes.
On screen, and that's it. And I think there was some deleted scenes how he was in them a bit more.
Maybe. It won't surprise me. Because even at that time, Liev Schreiber is fairly well known to him for just barely in the movie. It makes sense to bring him back for a much bigger role, especially after the events of the first one.
See, I knew him from something when I was younger.
Yeah.
Like when I saw this. And
he
it
was known for
'cause
something at this point. I don't remember what, though.
I knew him from something, but I couldn't remember it. And after this, I'd always call him Levy.
Oh yeah, well his name, I believe it is pronounced Liev.
Liev,
You want to pronounce it Liv, but it's not because it's
Yeah.
not quite spelled like Liv.
Yeah. People have trouble with enunciation at times.
I've never mispronounced a name in my entire YouTube career. If you ever watch one of my videos, I'm actually pronouncing words the correct way. You're wrong. Don't double check me on that. No.
If I'm never certain, I'll say it. Now I may be saying this wrong,
Yeah.
and I'll apologize if I'm going to. But I'll at least try. With the true crime stuff, I always at least tried to find how it was recorded on how to say it. And there was one I think I did with a case from early 1900s. So police collecting information back then wasn't as intense as it is now.
Yeah.
So like that was it was just a name scribbled on a paper like, oh, that's all we have? All right. That helps. Thanks.
But yeah, I was bringing up some of the names in this, but other major characters that are introduced in this, we get Jerry O'Connell as Nev Campbell's boyfriend, which is a nice thing to add since obviously her boyfriend was the killer in the last movie. So that's fun.
And he looks nice. I mean, he's the chubby kid from Stand By Me.
Yeah, although I think by this point I already knew him from Sliders because I was a big fan of.
I knew him
season
from
one of
Tomcats.
Sliders. Ooh, I've not seen Tomcats though.
it's a 90s raunchy comedy thinking it's Animal House.
Oh. Well, yeah, Sliders is a fun sci-fi TV series that kind of thinks it's Quantum Leap.
Yeah, I remember. I vaguely remember Sliders, and I do remember him on that show.
Yes.
But speaking back about Tomcats, I mean, are you sure you want to watch it? I mean, you know who his co-star is in that? Like his other male co-star is?
I didn't tell you.
Jake Busey.
Oh God. That sounds terrifying.
You sure you want to watch it? You want to watch it? Oh,
I don't know.
He has prowess.
Duh.
My guy has some sexual prowess in that movie. Some executive thought, you know who I think we could cast as a guy who could get a lot of girls? This guy, Jake Busey.
Although, the other actors in this, we get Laurie Metcalf and Josh Duhamel, who I'm watching this thinking, oh wow, Josh Duhamel is a better actor than I remember. Maybe I don't give him enough credit. And I'm like, wow, they skip over his name in the end credits. And then I see Timothy Olyphant, and I go, fuck, that's why he's a better actor than I give him credit for. I want to challenge people, because young Timothy Olyphant and young Josh Duhamel, I swear to God, they look fucking similar.
Yeah?
So maybe that's my big mistake. I get my mistake watching this movie as I'm watching it rather than during the podcast. So maybe that's it. But you know what? We are not done talking about it yet. So maybe.
It's okay. Well, this cast I did enjoy. I enjoyed quite a bit. And Jerry O'Connell's usually really good in almost anything that he's in, and he can deliver for whatever role is needed of him.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that surprised me was, just like the first one, they had two surprise cast in there that they really didn't advertise much about, which they had Jada Pinkett Smith and Omar Epps in the opening scene of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then, they immediately get killed off, just like Drew Barrymore in the first film. Like,
yeah.
But they did advertise the shit out of Drew being in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Or in the first one. This one, I vaguely remember seeing ads for it, but I don't remember seeing Jada or Omar in the trailer at all. I think I maybe saw a bit of that opening scene once as a trailer. Like they did a teaser of it, of them standing in line for a movie, but that was about it. It's going, oh, they're in this too.
Mm-hmm.
But nope,
Not
they're
really,
just in it for the first bit. Yeah, they are, but not for the full thing.
Mm-hmm. So I do feel like looking at this poster, it does kind of spoil Jamie Kennedy's fate a bit, because you would think you'd want him in the forefront if he's a returning cast member, but
Well, I mean, almost everybody on that is a surviving it survives this film except Jada.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Well, I mean, you have the main three, and it's worth saying. Until this movie came out, it wasn't clear at all if David Arquette's character survived, because he was kind of fucked up at the end of the last one, but wasn't decisive.
Yeah, he was like on life support and oxygen the last time we saw him in this series. So his reveal in this to be like kind of walking with a limp, it was surprising to a lot of people. Very surprising, because they all thought he might have died.
Something else spoiled by the poster, though.
Yep.
Actually,
I'm kind of surprised.
It must be.
Sorry.
Okay. No, I was just gonna say it might be a contract negotiation thing, because it would actually make sense to swap him out for Jamie Kennedy. Yeah, he obviously survived that. He was a little hurt, but not nearly as hurt as Dewey.
Yeah, no, Dewey got messed up in that first one.
Mm-hmm.
They were trying to kill him.
Maybe.
Maybe. But then again, there was kind of I believe reading something about in the first one, they were talking about trying to have Dewey be one of the killers.
Maybe.
But
Huh.
they had framed some of it to look like that or mislead you the whole time to make you think he was one.
Mm-hmm.
But he really wasn't. And then there was an idea for, I think, maybe a sequel to make him kind of snap and be one, but then later changed their minds and went a different route. I can't remember if it was about the third or not.
Well,
It's been forever.
Well, I wonder if that partially inspired, because in Scary Movie, essentially his stand-in character is the killer.
Yeah.
But something else that also occurred to me, and I haven't looked it up, obviously, because it just now occurred to me. So I wonder if maybe the reason he came back is because he and Courtney Cox were hooking up at this time, and she wanted him back. That's a possibility too.
She probably only do it if you do it.
Yeah, exactly. And
yeah, probably.
Yeah, and actually, like, remembering that there were a couple, I looked it up. They were together for a long time too.
And they still are.
I know that they divorced in 2013. I saw. So if they're still together, they're not married. But they're still doing these movies together, although there haven't been that many recently, obviously.
Well,
so
yeah,
obviously they have a working relationship.
Well, yeah, and I know at least that they'll still do they up to this point, up until 2020, they were doing like conventions still.
Oh, okay. So that
I knew that sometimes I think that some of them would go. I know David Arquette started wrestling in professionally in the amateur circuit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, actually, there's like a whole documentary about it.
Damn, I had no idea about that one.
Well, there's actually a time period in the late 99 to 2000s where that movie came out, that Ready to Rumble movie that featured a lot of wrestlers from the WCW promotion. The one based out in Atlanta, the one that was pretty much competing with WWF for television ratings during Monday nights.
Okay.
But which actually that's a whole great story within itself. Like competing for television ratings, and this small company was knocking out the biggest dog in the race, the WWF, for I think 86 weeks solid. Beat them.
Oh wow!
86 consecutive weeks. That's pretty cool. But yeah, so David was on that show to promote the film, and somehow ended up with the world title.
Oh shit!
And was the world heavyweight championship of a professional wrestling circuit for a long time.
Oh wow!
And was even involved in a big swerve to put the bad guy over at the big pay-per-view that month. Yeah, or like 2 months. Yeah, it was a whole big thing. And with Peacock, I've been kind of occasionally going back and watching stuff that all led to that. Man. But it's funny, though, because that documentary that's about David Arquette doing the amateur wrestling stuff, he feels bad about all of that because he felt like he made a mockery of it. And he genuinely has loved professional wrestling since he was a kid. So he kind of feels like he needs to do this to redeem himself for it. So he's literally starting from the bottom. And his goal is to at least make it in some big promotion and legitimately win it.
Okay. I had no idea he had any wrestling roots.
Yeah, like he does. Like big time fan. But I mean, if you look up a picture of him today, he's keeping himself in good shape.
Really? I don't know if I've seen him since Scream 4. So
look it up real quick. Like,
ooh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I wonder if I can bring it on here.
Like, my God, my dude.
Let's Googling live on the broadcast. You might even be able to hear me type.
Sometimes.
That was weird. There it goes. Okay. Okay, yeah, I did not expect that.
Yeah, right.
Let me see how easy it is to bring this over.
And you could look at another. I brought one up of him winning the championship back in I want to say 2000. I don't know how well you could see that.
Okay, yeah, I brought up the picture, a picture of him in the championship. Let me add a source. There it is. Okay. Wow, that's tiny.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that is way too tiny. Why would it do that? Learning. Yeah. Okay. So tiny.
Tiny David Arquette.
Oh my god, did it shrink? Oh my god.
It did.
It's not gonna work. Okay, Google it. He actually looks like he's in pretty good shape. Not something I would have thought looking at him, especially in this.
Especially from the trailers for this one. I mean, yeah, kind of. He's got that facial hair looking the same, but I see he's kept in good shape.
Okay.
He's also gotten some ink.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's good to keep in good shape. I'm pretty sure he's had drug issues. So.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he has too.
But yeah, I hopefully he's keeping himself doing the healthier stuff. So.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Like working out, because even with that life, I mean, there's a whole series on Vice about the dark side of that industry, which is really great. If you're into pro wrestling, definitely check out the Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah. But yeah, we brought up how Jamie Kennedy, it kind of spoils his fate. And I do want to say, in this movie in particular, Jamie Kennedy always has this over obnoxious grin thing going on. And it's really bad in this one.
I think it's his sideburns. Because they distracted me the whole movie.
Yeah. He was super punchable. And he, in a lot of ways, is kind of meant to be almost like the nerd avatar for these movies. He's the one that's super into all the movie stuff. So it was kind of Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just agreeing with you. Like, but I was gonna say really quickly, I really didn't agree with the choice of killing him in this one.
Yeah, I know. I have super mixed feelings because of his position as like the nerd avatar. And when we get to 3, they kind of do figure out a way to kind of bring him back for a cameo. But
yeah, bring him back.
Yeah, he is the super movie savvy one of the bunch. He dies about midway through, well,
the problem that I had with it is, you'd think about it like, after he was dead, you would think that there would be a point when all of them would be together, all of our characters.
Mm-hmm.
Then, realizing that Randy's gone and realizing that they don't know what to do now. And they realized how much they needed Randy.
Yeah.
For all this. But they never really have that moment. The plot just kind of unfolds. And if I'm not mistaken, that whole sing-along in the cafeteria scene is shortly after that.
I was saying it was before, but it might be after. But yeah.
Might have been before. I don't... I try to forget it.
Yeah.
And I also think that if Sydney was like under, that type of protection, I think Derek would have gotten shot.
Yeah.
At least tased. Mickey probably would have gotten tackled for standing up.
Pretty much I didn't remember how he died, but like when you brought up like Matthew Lillard a few weeks ago when I first fucked up, you brought Matthew Lillard had a way for his character to come back. My brain immediately went to Jamie Kennedy. I think largely because he just seemed like the character you kind of want to have around. Because they're all genre savvy, but he is like super genre savvy. He knows the book on the genre. He could probably write the book on the genre.
Well, yeah, and he knew it better than the rest of them. Even though they did fuck something up back in that film class scene.
Ooh, let's see.
Where Joshua Jackson first was talking about aliens, get away from her, you bitch.
Yeah.
And then Jamie Kennedy said, I believe the line is, stay away from her, you bitch. He's like, it's film class. No, Randy, you dick. He got it right.
Oh, maybe that's a little.
Dick.
I imagine that's supposed to be foreshadowing him not doing so well in this movie. Because how could he get that wrong?
Yeah, Randy wouldn't get that wrong. Or maybe like those killings that he read about. Maybe he's like a little freaked out about it. That's
No.
probably also what it probably implied, because I don't think he would let Sydney see that he was freaked out about it, because she came up to him first right after class and was like, hey, you saw those people who died
Hmm.
in a movie about our lives,
Yeah.
who were stabbed in a movie called Stab.
Yeah, no, that is something I wanted to bring up because this franchise continues to be meta. Because the movie that Jada Pinkett Smith, well, I think she's just Jada Pinkett in this movie, but Jada Pinkett and Omar Epps die at the beginning of this movie, going to watch the movie version of the first movie.
Yeah,
which is all types of delightfully meta. I kind of love that.
well, I kind of love how we saw the first one,
Yeah.
and the events play out with Drew Barrymore's character Casey Becker. And then we see how Hollywood did it, and that house looks nothing at all like that. The house is wrong. No, why is she taking a shower?
Yeah.
She was making food. No.
Yeah, the unnecessary shower. And I kind
And
of
it
love
just
some of
steams up, and it unnecessarily steams. And hey, how hot of showers is Heather Graham taking?
Yeah, exactly.
Is she like broiling like catfish?
Well, that's the other thing. Like, instead of Drew Barrymore, we get Heather Graham. Instead of Nev Campbell, we get Tori Spelling. And instead of Skeet Ulrich, we get Luke Wilson.
Which is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it's like, this is kind of great. And you get a couple of the scenes played out with them, which is kind of great. I love the meta aspect to all these movies.
Well, they amp up the meta in 3, and I'll admit 3, though it's unpopular amongst fans, I do enjoy it. It's kind of a guilty pleasure.
I remember liking 3. Maybe I'll have different opinions when we get to that one, but I remember enjoying all these movies.
I do, and yeah.
Memory serves, you get that fun Jay and Silent Bob cameo in the 3rd.
And we could also talk about their cameo in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, or at least Wes's cameo.
Yeah.
Really? A fucking monkey, Wes?
Yeah. Well, I thought it'd be a good twist.
What? I'll say people love monkeys. They come in, we love this monkey. See?
Yeah, Scream 2.
Oh, Wes.
I kind of really dig this movie. As I recall, it's kind of the way I feel about the first time I watched them. I like them all. I feel like every entry's diminishing returns. So this one I don't think is quite as good as the first one, but I still like it a lot.
Yeah,
I think
I agree.
I think Randy's death, from a narrative standpoint, is kind of iffy. Man, Jamie Kennedy's grin was kind of bugging the shit out of me. This one, though, I know it's dumb, but Jesus Christ, man.
I get it. Timothy Oplant's forehead drives me crazy in this movie.
Yeah. I don't know. He's spoiler alert. He's the killer. Like, we didn't spoil.
I think it's the hair. I think it's the hairstyle. Well, I don't know. Did I bring up the party scene before we were recording, or while we were recording?
I don't recall. What's the party scene?
Well, in the movie, while they're all having a party and they're all drinking Mickey's malt liquor.
Oh yeah, I think that's before we were recording. So
So they're drinking Mickey's malt liquor through the whole thing. That's also some probably foreshadowing, but I don't know. Maybe just foreshadowing, unless you know your malt liquors or if Mickey is regionally available to you.
Mm.
And if you're not aware, Mickey's is a malt liquor that comes like a little tiny green grenade-like bottle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Mickey is Timothy Olyphant's character, and and
he's the creepy Tarantino film student, according to Randy.
And he chooses scenery here, just kind of like he does in Die Hard 4, which I think it's worth noting. I enjoy him in both movies. I think.
Wait, he was in Die Hard 4?
Yeah, he was the main villain in Die Hard
4. Okay.
Yeah. Well, Die Hard 4, I think, is a really good film series. I'm glad they did 4 and then ended it. I think 4 gets a little too much shit, but they did 4 and ended it, and it's really, I'm really happy they decided not to do one with his son in Russia, because that sounds really bad, and it probably wouldn't work.
Well, speaking of being 4 and done, I did read recently that Mel Gibson is going to move ahead with a 5 of Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, and I am not interested.
Nope.
I'm not even sure. Like, would in theory, Danny Glover would be involved, but not even sure how well those two get along because I know their views are like opposites.
But would he?
Yeah, I don't know.
Pesci wouldn't return.
Yeah. Did Pesci say he's not returning?
No, Pesci just. I know that it took Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro years to convince Joe Pesci to return to do a movie. Like, I think like something like 5-10
That's
years
right.
they've been.
He's retired. Yeah.
They just were trying and trying and trying.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. He appeared, but then they see him appear in a television commercial.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And he finally agreed. Mm-hmm. That's why he appeared in that Christmas, that Halloween spoof for Google.
Mm-hmm.
He's having a Christmas party. He's like, everybody, this ad's on. And they're watching the ad with Macaulay Culkin all grown up in the Home Alone house. But he has like an Alexa there.
That's right.
I think it's an Alexa.
Like
yeah.
That, yeah.
And then he's like, hey, it's my big part right there. And he's just kind of looking like this kid cracks me up. And I remember watching that ad first thinking like, I would just rather want to see a reunion of those three.
Yeah. Well, Macaulay... Well, I think rewatching... I think it was brought up... I don't know what brought up. I remember thinking about Home Alone and thinking, man, these movies are a perfect prequel to Saw. His real name is
somebody's made. I know somebody has made that connection before.
Yeah, it seems familiar, but I love it.
I've seen that connection too, but I mean, well, speaking of Jigsaw, you just said that, and it made me think of this. Have you ever seen that video of Living with Jigsaw? How Jigsaw is your roommate?
No, that sounds awful.
It shows this guy lying.
It'd be fun, but yeah, being his roommate.
And like you see you see a puppet hand go, Gary. Gary just wakes him up. And he's like, what? And he's sitting on him. He's like, you are surrounded by a dozen live mousetraps.
Well, who would you rather have as your roommate, Jigsaw or the Grandmaster? Then.
Oh.
They both might kill you.
Yeah.
One's gonna be more bloody, but they both might kill you.
I'm gonna do a write-in and say Hubert West and just not have pets.
Yeah. But yes. Oh yeah, I want to talk about Timothy Olyphant in this movie and his motive, which I kind of love because it kind of plays into the immediate thing. Because Liev Schreiber is like purely interested in just getting like screen time. Now that he's released from prison, he just wants fucking screen time. He wants to get a talk with Sydney.
To tell his story.
For Katie Couric's interview, because he wants to be on the screen.
No, it's Diane
so crazy.
Sawyer.
Diane Sawyer? Okay. They blur.
Yeah, Connie-chan, I know.
Yeah, but there's also with Timothy Olyphant's character, his whole plan is to recreate this so he could go on trial and his he blamed the movies as his it won't be an alibi, but he went insane because of movies or some shit. It's the craziest fucking plan ever, and it really fits in.
He's gonna blame the movies.
Yeah,
it does. It absolutely does, because that was also their plan too.
Yeah.
Well, no,
but
because Billy did say, "Don't blame the movies.
Yeah.
Movies don't make psychos. Movies make psychos more creative."
Yeah. Well, it fits in with the first movie in that you have one character who's there for crazy reasons, and one character who actually has like semi-solidish motive.
Well, yeah, and Laurie Metcalf was, like she said, more old-fashioned, just good old-fashioned revenge.
Yeah, she's a Skeet.
Screet.
Yeah, she's Billy Loomis's mom from the first movie.
Screech.
Yeah, Screech. Screech! Oh my god! This is a crossover I never realized.
We shouldn't make jokes about Dustin Diamond. He's gone. Oh, your mic cut out.
Turn on. Okay, my mic didn't
There
want
you
to turn
are.
on, but it looks like it's on now. Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
completely forgot about that.
Yeah, he's dead.
That's sad.
That is.
Mhm. But yes, yeah, I like this movie. It's a step down from the first one, but this is a good movie.
Yeah, no, this absolutely is.
I definitely feel like Scream movies are not your entry level horror movie. Like,
No,
watch yourself some Halloween, some Friday, some Nightmare, then go into Scream.
yeah, like have a good appreciation and I don't want to say well-rounded knowledge, like, but just have a good understanding of the genre, because I think these movies are definitely like love letters to the genre.
Oh God, yeah. They have fun with the genre, but in a loving way, I guess.
Well, yeah, and they pay a good tribute too when it needs to, like the whole like the theater scene when they're doing the dress rehearsal.
Mm-hmm.
That cinematically is like great edit. Oh, I mean, the editing kind of is like, all right, there's a lot of cuts here,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of cuts, but it helps build that tension of that scene and of that just quick moment where Sydney's in her own head and she sees Ghostface right in front of her.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and
yeah,
it's really just another actor.
What I like about that is that while you're watching, it's like, wait, is he actually there or not? And it puts you in Sydney's head quite well, because like that's the same thing going through her head. It's like, wait, am I just seeing the mask from the play, or is that actually him? Fuck, I don't know.
I rewatched that scene actually before we recorded that whole scene again,
Mhm.
just because just like it was also I was just watching like the major plot points and the major beats of the film, just so I could be like very refreshed with it, because it had been about a month since I'd watched this one too. But I'm fairly familiar with it. Like I kind of memorized a lot of it, but I get some stuff of it mixed up. I'll admit there's parts of this and 3 I'll get mixed up sometimes.
Yeah.
When I'm rethinking it. But yeah. What was it? Yeah, that theater scene. So like when you see it, the camera will shoot up and you'll see Ghostface holding up. And you will see Sydney go down and the camera will follow her. But as it's going, we'll see that figure kind of move behind somebody who steps up into frame and has their mask off and is standing down looking with all the other actors. So it's kind of made to believe, like, did he get away or did she see it? Like,
yeah,
I thought that was kind of because we really don't get to see where he goes when he leaves frame. So I just thought that was like just a really great camera move and a really great way to kind of, I guess, pull the wool over our eyes as an audience.
Well, yeah. Well, you brought up the jarring edits, and that also really helps with the scene, because like if you're watching an action movie, jarring edits are usually a bad call. But in a movie like this, the whole point is kind of to just throw you off your guard. Yeah, like you know what's going on. That's the point.
Yeah, there's a lot of action happening. They did this, and even like non-genre films of horror, like we'll use like those quick edits as a scene to kind of build tension really quickly and kind of make the audience feel uneasy. Like Batman Begins. When they're in the theater and young Bruce is seeing the acrobat spinning, like that. Those quick little edits, they're meant to kind of shake you a little, make you a little scared and uneasy, and like it did to Bruce. Nolan wanted us to feel the same way the kid was feeling. But it's a technique and it works great. Scream used it Kevin Smith, or not Kevin Smith, but Wes Craven used it very well. I'm just thinking of James Silent Bob Strike Back.
Oh, that's next movie. Very briefly. Anything you want to add about Scream 2, or shall we move on to the new Netflix series?
Yeah, let's move on to the new Netflix season, Tiger King 2.
Oh yes, I cannot wait. So Tiger King 2 begins with there's a tiger and there's a king, and okay, I didn't watch it.
It's the same trashy people, but you get to meet one that's cut worse, actually. That's the series. That's the season 2 roundup.
Ooh.
Just as awful people. They're just as terrible. Even worse now.
But getting to the actual main topic, the new Netflix series came out 10 days ago. We got Cowboy Bebop live action, which is something that's been in development for a long time. Pretty much as long as the anime's been around. For the longest time, they're going to do a live action movie with Keanu Reeves. For me, I want to see more. I love this series, and I want to see more adventures like Bebop crew. I don't know about adapting it to like a movie because that's gonna barely be any more adventures. Maybe a bigger budget adventure. But I thought this would be interesting to go into because I'm super familiar with the series and Bobby is not. So
I tried going in blind.
so just out of curiosity, what do you know about Cowboy Bebop going into?
Um, my first initial thoughts going in blind were they were a team of like renegade armsmen, either vigilantes or bounty hunters or something of that sort. Like they, whatever their trade was, it wasn't exactly illegal. Like they were mercenaries or something, and they just did missions against some entity.
Mm-hmm.
That's just pretty much what I imagined it was about, or something of the sort.
Because it does make me wonder. Because there's lots of ideas that I thought were very big in the anime. God, I can't just call it the series. In the anime, that the live action series doesn't really focus on. Like in the anime, they are broke like all the time, and they barely catch any bounties. And they're bounty hunters. Cowboy is future slang for for a bounty hunter. They're called cowboys.
All right.
So they're broke all the time. In that series, they eat Jet calls it bell peppers and beef. They eat it all the time. It's noodles and peppers because they can't actually afford beef. And Jet's like, just imagine the beef is there. So Spike and Jet are sick of that in the series or the anime. And one thing I thought was interesting that was in this that made it like I felt like Spike really liked noodles in the live action series. Whereas that was not my impression of the anime. And my impression of the anime was noodles are cheap and it's what they have.
See, I had no previous knowledge of any of that in the anime, so that went completely over my head.
Yeah.
I just kind of thought it was more of like, all right, so they're doing that because usually whenever I think of an anime series, I think they'll at least have one character, whether he's a good character or a bad, who's always stuffing his face.
Yeah.
Because like I see that's a very common trope in a lot of animes. Either it's one of the main characters who is just enthusiastic about food.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's very common.
Yeah.
But
and it's usually the same one of him just waffing down a bowl of something.
But yeah. As per like series, lots of times I think it would probably be better to break it down kind of by the characters. I think the first character really worth talking about because there's a lot to say. Well, there's less to say, but like mainly because it's so well done. Jet Black. He is the main big ship they're on is called the Bebop. He is the guy who owns the Bebop. He's not the main character. He's like the main supporting character. Oh God, I'm gonna mispronounce his name. The actor's name is Mustaf Shakar. Oh, that's an interesting name. Anyways, he is almost like in his performance, he's almost a direct translation of the anime character. He is perfect. Okay. And then after that, the main characters are Faye and Spike. Spike is John Cho, and then Faye is what's her name? Daniela Kinda. I'm gonna slaughter names. I'm good at slaughtering names. I mean, these are actually the correct pronunciation. The actor says that I'm pronouncing it wrong, then that actor needs to check how they pronounce their name because I'm nailing it and they've been pronouncing it wrong their whole life. Clearly. But anyways, both
absolutely.
Those, John Cho is Spike, and then we have Faye. They're very good. They are not as direct a translation from the anime, but I like it. Spike is actually less headstrong. Spike is headstrong to a detriment in the series. It's usually not a big deal, but every once in a while it's like, holy crap, dude, relax.
Is he as bad as Larry David?
I'm not as familiar with Larry David. I assume
Curb
Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah,
I'm not familiar with it. No.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he gets kind of ridiculous in the anime, and they tone it down. Not a lot, but a fair bit here, and I do appreciate that. I think they do a very good job. Now, one of the characters I feel gets the short staff in this is Ein. And Ein is largely a background character in both the anime and the live action, but he's very present in the background of the anime. Like, if you don't know, Ein is the genetically engineered dog, and I don't even believe they bring up that he's genetically engineered in the series. But he's almost certainly the smartest character on the crew. He is constantly solving like problems in the background for him that they're still trying to figure out. Ein is great. Anything. And the other big character in the live action one that's worth bringing up would be Vicious, who is very much different. In the anime, he is like the villain, obviously. He is Spike's old partner. But he is very much kind of a black and white villain. He is just kind of just evil and kind of one note. And the live action series gives him more nuance, making him less threatening, but more of a developed character, which I think overall I appreciate. But yeah, there's definitely differences. I'll go ahead and talk about Ed now. Because Ed is, without a doubt, the most cringeworthy moment that happens at the end of this series. Throughout the series, I want to say all the characters are, like, adapted visually. Not 100% perfectly, but very well. Probably the closest would be Spike, who, essentially, he just wears a suit in the live-action series. And in the anime, he does wear a suit, but you can tell there's, like, futuristic, like, additions to the suit that aren't, like, modern. But in the anime, it's pretty much... But in the live action, it's just pretty much like a normal suit with the colors right. And it works. Faye is not, like, half naked and with giant fucking boobs all over the place like she is in the anime.
Well,
but
I mean,
they adapt,
obviously.
They adapt her color scheme. Well, like, I swear, her proportions in the anime are, like, chest 40, waist 10, hips 12. It's like, what the fuck?
So she has Eon Flux measurements.
Yeah, she does not have a human body in the anime.
Eon Flux, in case any of you listeners aren't aware, was an old show that was on MTV where it was an animated show, which had this lady in a very revealing latex leather number that was on the verge of dominatrix future warrior bikini. And then they made a live action and put Charlize Theron in a bodysuit.
Yeah.
And nobody saw the movie.
Yeah.
Because it had nothing to do with the series.
Well, Aeon Flux it's something that everybody knew about, but I don't know if a whole lot of people watched it. I saw, like, I think I might have seen, like, a collection of them before the live action. I'm not even sure if I remember.
Yeah, I remember seeing, like, a box set DVDs of them.
As I recall, every episode's essentially self-contained, because I want to say maybe she dies in, like, a lot of them. But just
yeah,
like
I know, like, the
own
first
story completely.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. It was something that I don't think they ever planned to flesh fully out.
Yeah.
But, like, it caught on.
Yeah. And I'm not even sure how you properly adapt that to a movie, because that's going to be, like, one story, probably. What, you do the sequel where you ignore the first movie? That would be
Well, that would be very common.
Yeah.
Nowadays, but you know.
Well, that's almost certainly what they do if they made a new one now.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, why?
But yeah, I think my thoughts on the live action series go back and forth. Like, I watched the first episode, and I'm not gonna lie, the first episode's almost a 1-to-1 adaptation of the first episode of the anime. There's definitely differences in that phase in the first episode of the live action series, and not. I don't want to say she's episode 3 or 4 of the anime.
Well, I'll say that that first opening title sequence. Now that looked like it was an anime.
Yes, the opening title is great. It's one of the things, like, visually they tried to get to the anime style very well. For the most part, it worked except for Ed.
No, it did, and like I said, visually it looked great. However, with the plot and storyline, I kind of felt like I was missing a lot of lore, even going in blind to it. Like,
yeah.
I felt like, okay, I maybe feel like I should have watched the anime before, so I at least know what the hell is going on, because I get what they're doing, and like I kind of gathered after kind of understanding that they were like bounty hunters or mercenaries of something of
Yeah.
the sort. I thought they were like guns for hire mercenaries.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the impression I got.
Kind of the same
And,
thing.
Yeah, but I didn't understand the why of any of it. And the whole time I'm just trying to figure it out, I just kind of felt confused with that aspect of it, and it made it hard for me to even follow like the plots of the other episodes that I watched.
Yeah.
Like I said, and I mean, maybe it's my fault for not getting into it and not trying to or I guess not watching the anime previously.
Well,
But going in blind, I felt very lost.
well, I do.
But-
I think that's actually good to know, because it's one of those
Yeah.
things. Like, it's impossible for me to go in blind. I've seen this anime multiple times by now. I
Yeah.
know the key elements immediately. So I think it's
Yeah.
good to know that if you're kind of blind going into this live action is probably not a good stepping stone. Because I will definitely say the anime is better.
Well, I should also make mention that I am probably the most casual of casual anime fans.
Mm-hmm. I
Like,
can get
I'll-
fairly casual too. So
Like, I mean, I know the ones that make most hardcore fans roll their eyes,
mm-hmm.
and that's pretty much as far as I can go. I mean, I'll make mention some other anime films that I've seen, but I just kind of like I guess the American adaptation of anime, like the Todd McFarlane style and that Justice League animated film style. I kind of like that a little bit more than anime.
It varies. There's animes.
Yeah.
Animes got hit and miss, and
Yeah.
I guess I'm super casual too. Although I might not be as casual as you. I try to keep up with the Miyazaki Studio Ghibli stuff, because that stuff's really.
Oh yeah,
Although
those are always
obviously don't see
fucking,
all of them, but
yeah, those are almost always beautiful. I
Mhm.
mean, I don't have to see one of his to know it's going to be beautiful.
oh yeah.
I mean, and you know, Akira, of course, I've seen.
Well, I think everybody's seen Akira.
I
My
think everybody
grandmother's
has.
probably seen Akira.
Yes, at this point. But like, there's like a few series that I've enjoyed over the years. Like, I enjoyed Fooly Cooly. I really like
I haven't
that.
seen that. So
I just happened to turn on Adult Swim one night, and they had a marathon of it, and I caught the end credits of one episode, and I saw a giant statue of like a bass guitar statue, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, what is this? An anime about Geddy Lee? Fuck yes,
Yeah.
I'll watch this." I had no idea what it was. I was just okay, whatever. And then I started getting invested and started watching an episode, and then another episode, and it was pretty cool.
Mhm.
I enjoyed it.
I think it's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, where the theme song is Roundabout by Yes. So
Awesome.
there's definitely a Western influence to anime. So it's interesting to see a Western influence and then probably get adapted to Western live action, which is kind of interesting.
Well, I mean, I just thought maybe that it was taking place in, Geddy's hometown, thus
Hey.
the giant monument to Mr. Lee.
There you go. Maybe.
'Cause I imagine in Canada there is a giant statue of Geddy's base in his
Yeah.
hometown.
Get it right. That was Sting's base.
Oh, then
Really,
it'd be in
Sting?
England
I mean,
somewhere.
okay.
You see, you say Sting, and I'm thinking of a different.
Oh, you
Sting.
think you're the wrestler?
Yeah, who also actually plays the bass.
Oh shit, that gets super.
I have a
complicated.
picture of him playing the bass with Sting
Ah,
looking at him. I'm shit you not.
nice.
I'll have to find it. I'll find it and send it to you. It's hilarious.
But yeah, my thoughts on this series, like the first episode was a little bit concerning. The second episode I thought was good, although there's this bit with the mine that kind of bugs me. Because did I miss a line of dialogue? Was it not explained how Spike got out of there? It's not a huge deal. I assume Jet came back, but it's one of those minor things that just kind of bugs you when you're watching something. It felt like something that would carry on to the next episode, but it doesn't. That being said, upon watching the first 3, I felt like the series was off to a solid base and knew what was doing. Kind of just taking anime aspects and just adapting them into its own story, which I was kind of okay with. And then we got midway through the series, in my opinion, not swapped, because I felt like it was now taking anime aspects and doing things that were much, much worse and much less interesting. Like,
See, you made it farther than me.
yeah, well, one of the things that's interesting about watching this is now that I've seen the live action, like my memories of the anime are starting to get jumbled because it's similar enough. Like I'm trying to remember, wait, was Faye in the first episode of the anime? I didn't think she was, but maybe she was, and then she comes back as a crew later. And no, she's not. No. But yeah,
Well, it's interesting you say that because I remember. Do you remember the Street Fighter film?
Are you talking about? Well, I don't think
Jean-Claude
I've seen
Van Damme.
Well, I've seen the anime.
You've seen the anime, yeah. The one where it starts with like Ryu walking down the road, barefoot.
Yeah.
He meets up with Ken.
Yeah.
And like it's pretty much like they almost follow most of the beats of the film. Or maybe I'm getting them confused because I've seen both of them quite a bit. I remember getting it thinking it was a cartoon and my mom renting it when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then that fight scene with Vega and how bloody that fight scene was.
Yeah.
I was so worried she was going to come back. And then she came back to check. They were moving on. Like, how's your movie? Good. Very good. Thank you.
But, like I brought up how, like, in the anime, it's made clear they're always broke and they can never catch a bounty. And one of the best moments in the anime was when they were forced with a decision where they could either kill somebody and collect the bounty, which they desperately need because they're super broke and their ship's falling apart. You know, they're in quite dire straits. They could collect the bounty.
Yeah.
Or they could kill the person, save a whole bunch of lives, but not get the bounty. And they're put in that position, and of course they do the right thing. And the end of the episode, super broke, still falling apart, still desperate for money. But it was a great moment because you kind of realize, you know, these guys, yeah, they're bounty hunters. They don't do the best thing, but at the end of the day, they will do the right thing if it's called upon them. Which is not something you really got as clear in the live action, which kind of hurts it. And that's the thing. Watching this and kind of rewatching some of the anime so I could help separate it out a bit. The live action makes it to about episode 5 of Raw storyline of the anime, of which there's 26 episodes total, so it's not very long anime. And a movie, which the movie's awesome. Lots of people don't talk about the Cowboy Bebop animated movie. Great. One of the best fights in there is the train fight. But yeah, this is a.
I don't know, man. Is it better than that hallway scene from Old Boy?
I mean, it's not as technically difficult.
You know that scene I'm talking.
It's not as technically difficult, obviously.
Well, obviously.
But
well, fine. All right. In comparison to anime, is it anything like that? That second to final battle, like their first confrontation in Akira, Akira and the Tatsu. I think no, that's not it. I'm drawing a blank here.
Well, it's been a while since I've seen Akira, but I would go ahead and say, yeah, much better.
The big one downtown. That's the one I'm talking about.
Let's put it this way. Like, the live action series and the anime kind of establishes that Spike's really a badass fighter. And give you an idea of the train sequences when he comes up against somebody who is just doesn't care and just kind of brutalizes him. Kind of without any effort. Shockingly. And yeah, worth checking out. But anyways.
Okay.
I think the series is fine. I do want to see more Adventures of the Cowboy Bebop crew, and I feel like the series is close enough to kind of get me that fix. I like a lot of the character stuff that they've done. I think one of their biggest issues is when they follow the characters too closely, and also one of their biggest issues is when they diverge from the stories too much. So it's like, it's a cross, it's a mix. between the best and the worst aspects overall of this series.
Sorry, I was all tangled up.
Oh, you're fine. I saw you messing around. I was like, yeah, I'm on a little spiel right now. We're fine.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I was tangled. I saw you looking up like, what the fuck is he doing?
But yeah, I like this series. I want to see a second season, but I have issues. It is not a complete win at all. I think acting-wise, it's great. Visual, it's great. Outside of Ed, they need to tone down Ed and figure out how to adapt Ed properly, like they did everyone else. Julia, I think it's worth noting, Julia is kind of just a damsel, as I recall from the anime, and yet she has a lot to do in this series, which I thought was a welcome addition.
That's good.
But yeah,
Good they didn't go with that standard trope.
yeah. You said you
Just kind of tiring.
Did you have any questions or thoughts on Cowboy Bebop? What you saw?
Oh no, I was just making the joke because I was lost.
Well, yeah.
I also, admittedly, it was super late when I was first watching it, like maybe 2 or 2:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, like, maybe I should just call Bob and ask him what the hell is going on right now, because I am just so lost. Looked at my phone, like, I am not calling him at 2:30 in the morning to talk about Bebop.
Yeah. Well, I think it's good to know this is not a good entry point, which is bad because the live action series should be an entry point. Both the anime and the live action series should be entry points. The only Cowboy Bebop media that really shouldn't be an entry point would be the anime movie, which is clearly established to take place later in the series. So yeah, I guess that my biggest complaint would be kind of just define these characters greater, and that's probably what not even define the characters. I guess that's not the best thing, because they do a good job with the characters, but define what their goals are and the situation that they're in much better. I wish the anime does, and this kind of doesn't. But yeah, I'm mixed, leaning positive on this series as someone who knows the anime. And someone who doesn't, it sounds like you're kind of like, eh.
Yeah. I mean, I watched the South Park post-COVID special.
Ooh, I have not seen that yet. Although I don't think that's on HBO Max. Isn't it?
No, it's not.
Like Paramount.
It is exclusively on Paramount Plus. But
I have
I
too many
believe
streaming
if you use
services.
I believe if you use promo code South Park, you might be able to get it for a month free.
Ooh.
And I believe the most you could pay is like $4.99 for the basic and $9.99 for like the premium version of it, which is I think ad free.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like Hulu.
Not bad.
Hulu drives me nuts because I still have ads on Hulu. Like, man, I don't want to pay an extra $5 a month to get rid of the ads for a service I don't use that often.
Yeah.
But yes, I don't think I have anything to add on Cowboy Bebop. But wow, I think we're clocking around 80 minutes right now. So my God, it's going to be the end of this series. We need to get back to 4-hour podcast, dude. Oh no, what's wrong?
Yeah, we need to. We need to. Well, I mean, we still have a long time before episode 46 because that's when it will come together.
Yes, it will come together in episode 46. We all know that, guys. We'll get there, okay?
We just got to trug along.
But yeah, next week we got Hawkeye. I was thinking there was something else, but we got Hawkeye. We'll go ahead and do Beatles, and we're putting together Christmas stuff. It looks like for Christmas we got a few weeks till you guys will see it. We'll probably do it sooner, but for Christmas we're going to do Battles of the Christmas Carols, which I think will be fun, and it also gives us something we can record early and take the week off.
Yes.
But yes,
that we could have fun with, and well, with the Battle of the Christmas Carols is something that we're toying along with. We've toyed with a few different ideas, but this one we keep kind of circling back to, and we I like it. I'm game.
Yeah.
Especially, we just got to figure out how we're gonna do this.
We'll figure out exactly which movies we're gonna do, how many we want to do. Like right now, I'm thinking minimum 4, which is a lot to watch in a week.
It's a lot to watch the same story 4 times.
Yes, and especially in a short span. That being said, I know a lot of these are kind of shorter, so as long as we don't do like marathon ones,
Yeah.
Well, I think who was it? Not Guy Ritchie, Guy Pearce? I think did a mini series one. We're not doing that.
Yeah, we're still in debates of whether or not we're going to include the Muppet one or not,
Yeah.
and still definitely debating about Scrooged.
Yeah, that's on the table though as well. I think it might be fun for something different as long as we don't overdo it.
Yeah, like it's. But I mean, not all of those have Bobcat Goldthwait.
No,
either, so.
that's true. Bobcat Goldthwait, I believe, was the person born to play the voice of Galactus in a future MCU movie. Kevin Feige, get on that casting.
Oh my God, yes.
Brilliant. No voice will be more terrifying to Earth. No.
I mean, I'm honestly surprised he didn't get Jarvis.
Yeah. Oh my God. Can you imagine Ultron as Bobcat Goldthwait?
Yes.
Beautiful.
That would be wonderful. So great.
So, yes.
Well, I mean, if we're talking dead actors like that, ooh, how about Rodney Dangerfield as Rocket Raccoon?
Ooh. I mean that could actually work. That could actually be kind of hilarious.
But he would not have to be. He'd have to be able to do it without saying the words "no respect" and "no shtick."
Yeah. Bobcat Goldthwait isn't dead though, is he?
No. No, you're right.
No, you had me freaked out. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, no, he's not dead. He's
Okay.
not dead. The man who directed one of my favorite dark comedies is not dead.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, have you ever seen God Bless America, Bob?
No, I have not.
Oh,
No, I was trying to think which one you've seen because I've seen a couple of his movies. I saw the Robin Williams one.
oh, that one is fucking brilliant.
I have mixed feelings about it, but like
It was dark.
I think
Definitely dark.
I don't think it's brilliant, but I think it's approaching brilliant.
It is.
Maybe that's something to talk about in our
I
time
think
because
God-
I
I
want to
think-
rewatch it. Get into
I think
it, but
God
yeah.
Bless America is a very brilliant dark comedy. Now I'll say that one, the one about his son, yeah, maybe brilliant was a bit much to claim. It
Well,
definitely was a different comedy.
yeah.
Like, and it dealt with a lot more realistic issues.
I think it definitely had brilliant ideas.
Yes.
But yeah, I want to rewatch it. Maybe we'll do that sometime because
Yeah.
it's a well done movie. I'd definitely give it that. He's a talented director for sure, and one of the greatest voices of our time.
And that kid actor was a little shit.
Yeah.
So I really didn't feel too bad watching him die in Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Oh, was he one of the victims?
Yeah.
Nice.
Very early on. Well, frankly, the kid had it coming.
So, yes, next week, Hawkeye and the Beatles documentary.
From people who have voted as the Avengers' most useless Avenger, Jeremy Renner.
Yes. Well, I've heard good things
Should I
about the
just-
series so far, so
I have too, and really
We'll see how
I
it goes.
disagree because actually, out of the original Avengers cast, so that'd be Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, Robert Downey, Scarlett Johansson, and Jeremy Renner. Renner's my favorite out of all of them.
Really?
Truthfully, yeah. I feel he's a very great character actor, and at that time he really was. And whenever he was cast as that sort of role, he always stood out to me more than the leads did, like The Town, for example.
Oh,
I-
yeah, he
I
was
forget.
great in The Town.
I forget that Ben Affleck's in that
Yeah,
because Retner just fucking out of the
he
park.
does
man.
steal the show in The Town. It's been a long time since I've seen that, but I just remember Renner was fucking...
I heard a
awesome
fun
in that.
theory that movie Tag, that's about Hawkeye when he's not an Avenger.
Shit.
That's what
Well-
he does with his friends.
I will say, I think Renner gets a lot of grief because it wasn't that long ago he went through a rough divorce, and his ex-wife was saying shit about him, and I kept on trying to say, people, he's going through a divorce. People say shit. At this time, you have to kind of ignore anything Renner says about his ex-wife. You have to ignore anything his ex-wife has to say about him. You kind of have to ignore.
You just gotta ignore it because they're going through their own thing.
They're going through a lot of personal shit, and it is all encompassing their lives right now.
Or
And
is
it has nothing
or
to
is
do
the
with
way
us. And
the way I always look at that, or whenever I get tried to be thrown into the middle of stuff like that with
Mhm.
people I know, I simply respond with like a limerick, or I guess a saying, which is like, "Hey, my name's Saul. That's between y'all."
Duh.
Like, and it's between them. And yeah, it's nasty when people do that. But I didn't realize that he had went through a divorce, and that's when people started throwing shade on him.
Yeah, that's why I remember lots of people
That's
starting to throw shade on him. And it's like, yeah, his ex-wife's gonna say shit, guys.
Are we believing everything that Amber Heard's saying about Johnny Depp?
Exactly.
And vice versa?
That's the thing that drives me nuts too. It's like,
Should they're
going through a
like their
divorce.
roles
They're,
should their roles and careers be jeopardized through this? No, it's none of our fucking business.
they're like,
If that's how the chips fall, that's how the chips falls. We should just maybe leave them the fuck alone and let them deal with their shit. Like,
well, it's like he shouldn't make any Aquaman movies if he's not gonna make any more Pirates movies. And it's like he's done 5 Pirates movies, and let's face it, they are not getting better, guys. I don't care if he
want
does
to do any more
anymore.
Pirates movies? I don't. I was okay with him not making any after the third.
I was out. It's been a while. The first one's pretty good. I remember enjoying the second one, and then I was kind of done with the franchise.
When I went to go see it, I think it was Dead Man's Chest. What is that? The third one?
No, that's the second one.
That's the second one, or what's the fourth or the third one named?
At World's End.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because I had never seen the second one before,
Mm-hmm.
and I was gonna go with a buddy of mine, and we were like hanging out beforehand, and I was like, "Yeah, I remember the first one. I never saw the second one, but I mean, I'm sure I don't have to." He's like, "Dude, really?
Mm.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, it ends on a cliffhanger." All right, let's watch it.
Yeah.
And it rounded out to where that one ended. We left, and immediately went into the theater, and the film started.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just kind of like
Decent
immediately.
timing.
Yeah, decent timing. Yeah. Well, it was like a local theater, so like we just walked from where he lived.
Mhm.
But yeah, I agree. I was done after the third. Those movies are great and it's cool, but like,
It's
they
a
really
character
have
with a
that
shtick.
much.
Mm.
Yeah.
And
I felt like those latter 2 movies were definitely more of like the other pirates doing their shtick,
yeah.
like the guy with the eye and his buddy.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Like
when
the
you
ones
have
that
a
are-
character that has such defined character traits, you can't really do a whole lot with it. What are you going to do? Mature the character?
No, and
If you mature it, it's not the character anymore.
And I really don't know what else they could do after pretty much casting the literal inspiration
Yeah.
for Jack Sparrow as the character's father.
Yeah.
Now I'm a big Stones fan, and I loved seeing Keith in there. Don't get me wrong, and I'm half amazed he memorized his fucking lines.
Mhm.
But then again, he's not Dee Dee Ramone, so.
Yeah.
But just, I mean, what else can you do after that? I kind of felt like they hit the mountain, you know? There's nothing they could do. They have jumped the shark with that series.
Yeah.
I
Couple
kind of
times
thought
over at
Amber
this point.
Heard was terrible in Aquaman, but I kind of thought Aquaman was terrible to begin with.
I enjoy Aquaman, but it's not. I really feel like Aquaman is like the bad superhero movie almost on purpose.
Yeah. But I just that hair underwater was way too distracting for me. Way too distracting.
Yeah, it's dumb. But I kind of enjoy it. People who overrate Aquaman. It's a dumb movie. I enjoy it. It's dumb.
You know
It's
what
very,
the hair
very dumb.
reminded me of? You will know what it reminded me of.
But
Remember Donkey Kong Country for the Nintendo 60 or not
yeah.
the Super Nintendo?
Yeah.
You remember those underwater like leaves that would wave?
Oh sure.
Like
Yeah,
exactly-
I could see that.
exactly what it. Like I started watching and all the underwater bits. So I'm just like, boo-doo-doo-doo-doo, boo-doo-doo-doo, boo-doo-doo-doo.
No.
Man, that game had some great music.
Well, for the time, those graphics were amazing too.
Yeah, and even like those full audio tracks on that game.
Mm-hmm.
That's still impressive to think about, like for a cartridge-based gaming.
I will always stand up for the Mega Man 2 soundtrack. That thing is awesome.
F-Zero soundtrack for Super Nintendo.
Eh? Star Fox.
Oh, well, 64 soundtrack. They upped the ante for that one.
Eh?
I don't know. I vaguely remember. I have vague memories of playing it on the Super Nintendo.
Mhm.
I have more memories playing it on the 64.
Well, the Super Nintendo was super like shaped and shit. It was a great game, but it's like everything's like a
Well, they made
polygon
everything.
at some point.
Well, yeah, they made everything better with 64 though.
Yeah.
Because that game was. That would be fun to do a speed run of.
Maybe. But
I'd
yes,
have to like find a copy of it.
Hawkeye and Get Back
Hawkeye.
next week.
And get back.
So yeah. Did you want to pitch anything? Are you?
I got nothing to pitch.
Okay. I got my Comics
I just
Gate
wrapped
coming
up-
out probably Friday, so Comics Gate
Okay.
video, which is gonna be lots of cringe. So if you watch it, be prepared for cringe. There's lots of cringe moments in that, and I apologize. Everybody have a good one. I want to go ahead and add some audio credits at the end here. The theme music you're hearing at the beginning and end of this podcast was written and performed by George Johnson, a very good friend of mine. And my current Patreons are Fel Martins, David Lara, and Lindsay Pankhurst. If you'd like to become a patron, go ahead and follow the link down below. Anything you can provide would be incredibly helpful to this channel. We're barely limping by right now. I'd love to make this my full-time job. I'm miles away from that right now. So any help you could provide, just $1 a month would be amazing. You know you want to. All your friends are doing it.